Hey guys, my name is Brian Lee and welcome back to another exciting tutorial here in Photoshop. Today we're going to be going over how to make a bathroom using the living room design kit. If you're following along and you don't have the kit, that's fine too. We're going to be using smart objects and we're going to have a lot of fun. So thanks for being here and let's get started. Alright, so here we have the living room kit opened. I'm going to go ahead and open this group. Let's go down to walls. And what I want to do here is just start bringing in the right and left wall to create kind of more of a narrow room. So let's go into the right wall first. I'm going to hit V. I'm just going to drag that over. Notice how all the lighting is just following right along. Got the shadows up top and the back corner. So that's going to stay nice and consistent. Now before I go further, I'm going to turn on these extra materials. That's just going to show me my center. And I'm going to drag the left wall over. That looks about right. I'm not going to worry too much about these corners right now and how they're empty. We'll get to that eventually. So for now, we have a little bit of a problem now. When we move the walls in, we've kind of broken perspective. So I'm just going to fix that really quick. So I'm going to go into the right wall, select the layer itself, hit Command T. And then I'm going to just right click, hit perspective, and just line this baby up. Now you can also use the floor as a guide if you have wood floors or something going back into space. It's easy to kind of tell. So just a little bit off there. Enter, and then turn that down. And let's go into the left wall, do the same thing. Command T. Hold spacebar, pan over, right click, hit perspective, and just drag that out. Just kind of looking at wherever the nearest green lines fall. Alright, hit enter. Cool, so that's basically our new wall setup. So let's figure out how to texture those. I'm going to turn extra wall or extra materials off. I'm going to go into my right wall, double click on that smart object, and then go up here to my finder. And I have a pre-built texture, so I'm just going to bring that in. I want my walls to be pretty dark. And you'll notice I'm dragging this in right underneath the trim and wall shadows. If I did want trim in there, which I don't think is that normal for a bathroom, I would have it, but otherwise I'm just going to turn that off. And you can see that my shadows are affecting it. So let's actually turn those shadows down slightly. And we'll just stick this into wall texture with the others. Now I'm going to hit Command S. We're going to save that. And I'm just going to copy this by just holding Command or Control if you're on a PC and clicking the icon, and hit Command or Control C to copy. Now when I go into the other walls, I'll be able to quickly pop those in. You can see how easily that updated. Everything's in nice perspective. So let's go into the left wall now, do the same thing. Turn off trim, turn off wall shadows for now. Okay, let's hit Command V to paste that texture in. Wall shadows back on. And we'll save that. Command S. Control Tab to switch back to the master comp. Let's close down the right and left wall. Now we just need to do the back wall. So I'm double click on the smart object here. And come down in here to wall texture, hit Command V, paste that right in there, turn off the trim. And I'm not going to have to worry about most of the wall just because we have created such a narrow back wall, so you won't even see the sides much. And let's just make sure by hitting Command S, go Control Tab back to the master, and there we go. Cool. So now let's talk about the floor. I'm just going to give that a bit like a light colored tile. So once again, I'm just going to bring in a texture. My light colored tile here, drag that in. And I'm going to spin that sideways just so we have the vertical lines going up. It's just a preference. I think that should be wide enough, but just to make sure, I'm going to duplicate this texture. I'm going to hold Alt and drag down. Excuse me. I'm going to hit V for the move tool. Hold Shift and just drag that sideways. I'm going to hit Command S, Control Tab, and there we go. Nice and updated. Last thing, I'm going to go into the ceiling. Let's just darken this down a bit. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to fill that layer with black. I think this is black. Yep. So I'm going to do that by hitting Alt plus Delete, and that's going to fill with my foreground color. You could also use the paint bucket tool, whatever works for you. I like to use as many hotkeys as I can and bring down the opacity. I just want to make this a bit dark, a little bit dark enough so I can better see the lights that I'm about to add. Hit Command S, Control Tab, and that's better. I could go back and darken it just a little bit more, maybe just to see it better. Command S, Control Tab. And there we go. All right, so let's add some quick recessed lights or can fixtures up here in the top. Hit Command plus to zoom in a little bit. And so yeah, this is pretty easy. I'm just going to, I don't know, let's go up into the lights group. And let's just go into specialty lights here. I'm going to make a new area light, or let's call these new area lights. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go to my circular marquee tool here. And then I'm just going to hold Shift and drag, and that's going to make a perfect circle of a selection. And now I'm going to hit Command Delete, which is going to fill my selection with the background color. You could use paint bucket tool as well if that helps. Hit Command D to deselect. Now I'm just going to drag this down here so I can see what I'm doing. And you can see that this layer is currently opaque, and that's because the entire group, specialty lights, is down 75%. So I'm just going to drag this out of specialty lights for now. And now you can see that all my global lights are even down 76%. So I'm going to drag this up and out of global lights. And now you can see that it's fully opaque. So let's close that down. And so all I need to do at this point is hit Command T. And I'm going to scrunch this down. It's about half the size, or until it looks right in perspective. Let's try that. And then drag that up. Maybe a little bit more. You just kind of eyeball it till it looks right. I'm going to hit V and drag that over. And so that's really quickly how you make a recessed can fixture, by the way. Pretty cool, right? Hold Alt and drag up. Hit V for the move tool. Hold Shift and drag over. And then again, hold Alt, drag up to duplicate. Hit V and drag over. So I just want to get these basically spread apart evenly. And then let's just make some quick volume lights by going to gradient. I'm going to go into my radial gradient setting, and then I'm just going to toggle my foreground color to white, and you'll see that up here it is updated. Now if you don't see this, make sure that your presets look like this. So you want this one with the transparency. So let's click that again. Cool. So I'm going to make a new layer, and then I'm going to drag straight down. and that's going to give me this nice foggy look. So I'm going to hit Command T, and I'm just going to start manipulating this. Now if you hold Alt when you're squeezing in, remember that the object you're scaling will scale towards the pivot point, and that's what we want, just to scale towards the center. So then I'm going to right click, hit perspective, and then just fan that out. Cool. So now let's just hit M again. This time I'm going to switch over to my rectangular marquee tool. Let's just drag that. Hit Command T and just stretch this down. Command D to deselect. And again, we're going to just refine this a little bit. Cool. So now you can make this as strong as you want to. In general, there's probably not going to be too much water particles in the air, so you wouldn't need a very strong effect here, unless you're trying to make it go along the back wall, which works too. So let's hold Alt, drag down, and just duplicate this a couple times. There we go. So obviously you can do a lot more here. You can go into the walls. We could add maybe a door on the right side. We have one pre-made here in the kit. Let's just go to this one. Let's drag that over. Maybe we'll bring it closer to us just for looks. I'll make a new layer above that. Thinking we could just make this black and white, kind of just very darker color of door. Oops, hit color. And I'll just take all the color out of it so that it blends better. And S, Control Tab. And there we go. We got a bit of a door. You know, quickly, let's just I'll show you how to make a shower. So I think these walk-in glass showers are pretty popular these days. I'm gonna hit M, drag this out and down. I'm gonna fill that with black. Command D to deselect, and let's just bring the opacity down, and you can see how quickly you get a pretty cool effect there. Command T again. Squeeze this out, right click, perspective, drag it down. And if I wanted to get real technical here, I could just turn my extras back on, Command T, and just make sure that I'm in perspective at this point, which I'm pretty close, it looks like. That's better. Cool. So obviously you guys could do a lot more here, adding sinks and toilets and whatnot, and I'll leave that part up to you. There are some other tutorials that talk about how to manipulate furniture, so hopefully you'll check those out. Lastly, let's just do a crop on this. I'm going to hit M for the marquee tool, drag out what I want to keep, hit C for the crop tool, and then just hit enter a couple times. And there we go. Pretty decent looking bathroom in just a few minutes. So thanks guys, hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If I'm going too fast or if I'm missing anything or you'd like to see more, please leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. So this tutorial was brought to you by the Living Room Design Kit, which allows you to build custom, beautiful rooms at the click of a button. Check it out and learn more on our site, thedesigncure.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Again, be sure to subscribe to the channel and receive new tutorials every week that will help you master Photoshop for interior design. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time.